Hello, friends, and happy Friday. How's everyone doing this evening? I hope all is well with you all, and it looks like I actually managed to get this set up properly, so I'm pretty darn happy about that. I was rushing tonight. I'll tell you all the story. Nothing terribly exciting. We got a lot of folks assembled thus far, and it's great to see so many guys, especially the folks that show up early. I always appreciate that. It gives me a little boost as I'm trying to set up here, knowing that somebody's going to be out there tonight. So let's see. We got David G. Good to see you, David. David Bookshop, Paul Rapp, Jeffrey Feinberg, Bob Kraus, Danny. Ciao to you, Danny, Big Dave, Patrick Grant, Flint Hill Breyer, Gary Edmondson, Alex Saunders Jr., there's Doug Owen, James Steidle, Declan Flutterjohn, and we may be close to caught up there. There's little Piper Todd. How you doing, Todd? Great to see all you guys. I hope you're all having a fantastic Friday. Your weekend's off to a great start, and you're looking forward to some fun and such. Hey, Signal Man Tony from Rhode Island. How you doing, Tony? So I got my old friend out here, my oldest Zippo. I know I filled it, but for some reason, just not. We may have to switch to the medic, but anyway, all is good. All is good. I've got the Matches Memorial Friday 7L filled up with Haunted Bookshop, as is the tradition here on the Friday night live stream. And I am so happy to see you guys tonight. Literally happy to see you, and I'll tell you more about that. And if you saw the title card, you might have a hint as to what I'm going to be talking about, but I had a little bit of an adventure. Big Dave says, "How about Pope Leo?" Yeah, how about that? We got ourselves a new pope, and that's great. I mean, I was amazed at how quickly the decision was made, and I know that probably the majority of you guys are not Catholic. I am Catholic, and I know several of you are. And all I can say about Pope Leo is I don't know anything about him because he's now the Pope, and the person he was before no longer exists. So we pray that he leads the church in a good direction, and let's see what happens. So that's everything I got to say about it. I literally have looked at nothing. I've avoided all the media around it and all the YouTube videos that have popped up around it, and several people have gotten in touch with me because I am sort of publicly Catholic, for better or worse, and have asked, what do you think and all that. I have no thoughts on it. I'm letting God, the Holy Spirit, and Pope Leo sort that out, and hopefully they will go in the right direction. There's Poem. I have a new movie recommendation, but I've not yet seen your video on how to recommend a movie. Oh, yes, you have. Uh, Big Dave says he thinks Pope Leo is a very humble person. I hope you're right about that, Dave. Well, I shouldn't say I hope you're right about that. It appears to be so. And yeah, we will see. We will see. Hello, Dolly. Gotcha, Doug. Gotcha. So somebody told me he's apparently a White Sox fan. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know. Gary Edminster asks, anyone else have low audio? Um, Let me know if that's a problem. I can bump it up a bit, but it looks to be about right on my end. I will say this, and I don't want to dwell on the Pope because I know a lot of you guys just aren't interested, but it is kind of cool to have a Pope that actually might be watching a baseball game. There's something kind of cool about that. Now, if the White Sox suddenly start like winning the next three World Series, we might have a problem. They might have an inside guy. Peterson house pipe with vanilla custard and black coffee, says Gary Edminster. Good for you, Gary. That sounds like a great way to get Friday night rolling here. There's Fillmore Films. Good to see you tonight. Lord Hogarth tells poem Bubba Boo. I think that's the best response to Hubba Bubba I've seen yet, Lord Hogarth. I'm going to start using that if you don't mind. Steph and Skip, good to see you guys. Good to see you this evening. Oh, he's a Cubs fan, says Piper said. Ah, okay. I had somebody send me a message saying he was a White Sox fan, so I don't know. What am I drinking? Nothing, Gary. I haven't opened it yet. But thank you for the reminder. Because as you guys know, I will forget to drink, which is a terrible thing. Hopefully he's been in Italy long enough to know that Chicago deep dish pizza is not pizza, says Flint O'Brien. Amen to that, buddy. Oh, Danny, that is good news. Those brick and mortars bringing back Cornell and Deal. Patrick Grant's got his Friday 7 and he's got with Haunted Bookshop, and he's got some Coke Zero Orange Cream. Wow, that sounds interesting. Oh, Declan, there's a fantastic story about one of the papal conclaves that actually explains why they do it the way they do it now. And I don't know, maybe I should tell you that because it's hilarious, but I don't remember which pope it was. It was back in the 1500s, and it took them years. And the people actually started to get annoyed, so they locked the cardinals in. They wouldn't let them out, and then they started limiting what they would eat. And it goes on from there. It's quite funny. But let me know if you want to hear the full story, and I'll tell it. Flint Hill heard White Sox as well. Patrick, let me get my drink out before you and Gary yell at me. I am going to have the last of my St. Patrick's Day Guinness draft. It shows you how much I drink. I bought a 4-pack for St. Patrick's Day, and I've still got one left. So that's the plan. And let me pour this out because this is a complicated fizzing one. How should I best do this? I want to do it quickly. I'm going to go off to the side and start it. Okay? Just don't mind me. I think you're supposed to pour this as soon as you crack it, and it's hard to do that if you're holding the glass in your hand. You can't see what I'm doing, can you? Now this is going to be a little colder than it should be because I had it in the fridge. I thought I would have it last Friday, so I put it in the fridge. Yeah, we're almost there. Can't take a sip with a pipe in my mouth, can I? Ah, very good. Yeah, a little colder than it should be, but we shall survive. Like I say, Guinness really has the market on aesthetics when it comes to a beer pour, doesn't it? Beautiful stuff. All right. Ronnie Ewing. Dad just watched his favorite team play the Panthers tonight. Wishing the Toronto Maple Leafs a triumph win, and hopefully they will win the Stanley Cup. Well, Ronnie, I can't in good faith say I agree with that statement. But I'm not a hockey fan, but if I'm watching hockey, I'm rooting for either the Flyers or the Penguins. So, but yes, I hope to make your dad happy, I hope that does happen. Is there a specific way to pour a Guinness? Asked Fillmore Films. There probably is, Fillmore Films. There's probably a specific way to do just about everything, but does it matter in the end? Oh, Big Dave. Well, tell your wife I said you're welcome. You know, Ronnie, I have a whole set of beer glasses that my wife bought for me. Oh gosh, 10 years ago at least. and I think that's the only one I ever use. And I really should get the other ones out, but some of them are I don't know. I'm not one of these people. I know that it's traditional to drink certain beers out of certain glasses and all that, but I don't think it matters. So, I'm sort of more practical than traditional when it comes to such things, I suppose. Yornik, hello. And which of the Yorniks do we have with us this evening? Matthew Geis, stopping in to say hello. Yes, Guinness is a great choice for sure. It pairs well with just about everything. Good to see you, Matthew. Ah, it's lighting now. Every time I pick this up, I think, hello, old friend, because I've had this for 30 some years now. And my goodness, the corners are all rounded. It just feels so good in my hand. And I haven't used it for quite a long time because for the whole of Lent, I used my Memento Mori lighter. And then when Easter came around, I had my St. Benedict lighter for a couple weeks. So yeah, it's good to have my old friend back. Kate is being sane and asleep. Okay, so we've switched from last week then, Yornik. Good to see you, my friend. Do you alternate the sanity? Is that the way it works? Armchair Piper, how you doing, Ed? Great to see you, buddy. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Fillmore, if you're a pipe smoker and you're going to get a Zippo, this is the one to get. I mean, you can't even see it anymore because the little pipe thing is practically worn away. But it comes standard with the pipe insert, and there's just something about the brass. I mean, in my mind, this is the quintessential pipe smoker Zippo. But what do I know? They're all great. I love Zippos. Flint Hill, that's one of my bucket list things is to go to Ireland and to have a Guinness. But I just want to go to Ireland. I mean, even if they told me you can go to Ireland, but you're not allowed to drink the Guinness, I'd still go. I just want to see it. Um, Funny, I've been a lot of places, but that's one that just has never. Well, there's not really a reason, at least in my business, to ever go to Ireland. So I never got the chance to do it with it on a business trip, and never did a vacation there. So you just don't worry about the sanity thing. It's whatever comes up, huh, Nick? So last week, Kate told me that I had to look into Submachine, and I did. I haven't installed it. I haven't actually played it, but it looks very interesting. So I'm uh, I'm going down that path. But oddly enough, when because I don't have Steam set up or anything on my computer, so I it's going to take a lot for me to get that running. But I did install Doom just for the heck of it and played Doom for the first time in like 20 some years. So that was kind of fun. I know what you're saying, Ronnie. Absolutely. Sanity is a state of mind, Gary. Yes, a truism indeed. All right, Declan Granger sounds like a great choice. I'm sorry you can't just light up right now. Palm, I've had Scotland and Scotch. Yes. I've been to some really, really neat places in Scotland and like some local bars that had selections of local scotches and things like that. It was a wonderful trip. James Stidle asks, will the flame of a Zippo scorch briar? Probably, James. Probably. Not something I've ever really worried about myself, but if that's a concern, yeah, you might want to be careful with it. Ed, you want to come along? You're welcome, my friend. Jack Stroff. Why you singing Jack Stroff, Lynn Hill? Great song. Which hotel is the popular choice for the Capitol Land Pipe Show? I don't know, Poem, and I got some bad news about that. I'm not going to Capitol Land for the fourth year in a row. I really wanted to, and my wife scheduled a vacation. And Capitol Land is like on the 21st, I think, and our vacation starts on the 19th. So I will not be there. Sorry, but we haven't been on a vacation together in a long time. So I wasn't gonna raise a fuss about that. She's good to me, and she deserves it, and I need it too. So we're going to be going to Ocean City, Maryland. Probably won't be a Friday night live stream, and whatever Friday falls in the midst of that. But I'll try to check in once in a while and show you guys some beach scenery or something. You know, Yornik, I was not expecting to need a notepad and pencil when Kate suggested submachine. I was thinking of like a shooter game. But no, it's actually quite it's a puzzle game. It looks really interesting, but it's going to take me a while to get there. Oh, Irish whiskey is wonderful, I'm sure, Piper. You know, I'm not very picky when it comes to whiskey, as you guys know. You know, I enjoy whiskey. Most of the time, it's either rye or an Irish whiskey, and that's just because the flavor is a little bit different to me, but it's not like vastly different. But man, there's something about a good Irish whiskey. It's smooth. It tastes good. It feels good. So yeah, if I had free run of the liquor store, take whatever you want, I'd go straight for the Irish whiskey. And I probably wouldn't go crazy high end either. I mean, some of the blended Irish whiskeys are quite nice. Oh, Flint Hill, we're believe it or not, we're companion souls on that end. We need to compare notes sometimes on favorite dancing bear songs. By the way, folks, it's in the 50s here. You're probably going to get some furnace appearances tonight, so just let you know. It's a bit chilly, surprisingly chilly. Wow, mix of shooting and puzzling. That's interesting, Yunik. Irish coffee, Ed, is it just me, or does that shot of whiskey in an Irish coffee seem to be a little bit more potent than if you had the shot on its own? There's something about warm alcohol that seems to just hit me. Wonderful way to relax. I Years back I got into this kick of making some hot buttered rum, which is a truly disgusting thing because it's like 50% butter. But my God, does it taste good? And you have to like mix up this butter spice mix first, and then you add the rum and you pour hot water on it. It's a very strange thing, but it tastes so good. But there's probably more calories in that shot glass than what I would consume in a day. So I had to stop doing that. Oh my goodness, Mark Ryan passed away. Oh wow. Doug, that is devastating news. 67. Oh my. Well, I'm really I'm in shock. Well, folks, let's raise a pipe to Mark Ryan. He's a good man, and yeah, he is absolutely responsible for saving Perique from extinction. Oh, Alec, I can see by your little avatar there that you're a fan. And yeah, I never heard that they were marching. They're definitely dancing. There's our buddy the furnace. Um, yeah, Patrick, I'm in shock. I tried to get Mark to do a conversation with pipe smokers way back in the day when I was doing that, and unfortunately, I was never able to get in contact with him. And a couple times I've seen him at pipe shows, but he was always busy and stuff, so I never really got to meet him personally. But everybody that knew him always spoke very highly of him, and you know what he did for Parikh was we wouldn't have Parikh right now. That's flat out it, and way too young indeed, Paul. I put up a fight, Doug. That is just sad. Well, thank you, Poem. I think I've got the filters worked out now to the point where you will not hear it, but my voice probably sounds a little bit odd, maybe a little bit garbled. Um, Such is life. A drink mulling iron. That sounds interesting, Flynn. Well put, Eurnick. Quite poetic. Ah, thank you, Fillmore. So, I had a bit of an adventure. So on Wednesday, this is really strange. On Wednesday, like late Wednesday afternoon, I was at work and I was doing something, and something like fell over here, uh, and I thought it was like a fly or a spider or something, you know, and I didn't think anything more of it. And then later Wednesday night, it happened a couple more times. I was like walking out to the kitchen and I saw something over there, and so I went to bed, not thinking much more of it. Now I am prone to, I mean, I shouldn't say prone to, but a couple times a year I get retinal migraines. I don't get normal migraine headaches, never have, thankfully, but I get these migraine headaches in my retina, which cause this sort of weird visual distortion. Sometimes I'll see like zigzaggy, almost like stained glass type effects. It lasts for sometimes about an hour. Sometimes it'll be only in part of the visual field. Usually it's only in one eye, so if I close one eye, it goes away. And yeah, just something it scared me the first couple times, but it happened back when I was in high school and found out what it was, and now it's just something I live with. Very rare, like a couple times a year. So it's not like I'm suffering with this or anything. Just it happens. I go, oh boy, it's happening again, and it goes away in a couple hours. So I thought maybe that's what it was, and I went to bed and uh, woke up in the morning, seemed fine, and then I was walking through the parking lot at work, and it happened. And it happened a couple more times on Thursday. Came home. Uh, Thursday, I was cleaning up the yard. You know, we have dogs, got to walk the yard and all that, and it happened several times. And thinking, man, this is odd. I better do something. So I sent a note to my doctor, and I said, you know, this is happening. Can you give me a referral for an ophthalmologist? Now, the reason I did that is back in 2019, I had cataract surgery in both eyes, and really good doctor and all that. Was following up with him. He was going to be my optometrist, ophthalmologist, and then the whole mess happened. We won't talk. We won't say the word, but you all know what I mean in 2020. And they canceled everything, and I didn't see him for a while, and then I forgot, and they never followed up, and I never followed up, and so I went to look him up, and he's retired. So I went to my doctor and had him give me a recommendation, and I contacted them on Friday morning, and I said, you know, this is happening. It was actually Friday afternoon by the time my doctor got back to me. I described what was happening, and they said, okay, can you be here in 20 minutes? And I said, no, because I live an hour away, and I don't know how to teleport. And so they said, okay, go to the emergency room. And I thought, wasn't expecting that. There's few things in life I hate more than going to the emergency room. Oh, I see some guys are getting the ocular migraines. Yes. I don't think it's quite an aura. Well, maybe it is an aura urinic. I don't know because I've never had a true migraine headache. But I always thought the aura was a bit different. But anyway, it may be the same thing. And let's see, Poem says doing some side-to-side neck stretches alleviates the symptoms. Interesting. Interesting. I will try that next time it happens, Poem. Thank you. So anyway, I hate going to the emergency room because it usually means I'm going to be there for like 6 hours for nothing, you know, because I've had a lot of like heart racing type things happen over the years. And the most recent issue I had was when I was at the Chicago Pipe Show a year or two ago. This was 2 years ago. Not Chicago. I've never been to the Chicago Pipe Show. What am I talking about? The Columbus Pipe Show. A couple years ago, I got something in my eye that I couldn't get out, and that was a horrible experience. I was in the emergency room for like 12 hours. I actually left at one point, decided to just tough it out, and then I couldn't stand it anymore. I went back 3 o'clock in the morning. So anyway, uh, I don't like emergency rooms, but such is life. I did it, and I get there, and doctor comes in and what's going on. I explained the whole thing to him, and he said, well, you got to see an ophthalmologist. I was like, well, I know that, but they told me to come here. So it turns out there's an ophthalmologist right across the street, which is the ophthalmologist that I went to before I got the cataract surgery done. And the reason I left him is that he told me I didn't need cataract surgery when I could barely see. Okay. He was basing it on my age, but the fact is I think the chemotherapy accelerated cataract formation because I could barely see. But he didn't want to do it. So I went to another doctor. And so I really didn't want to go back there, but I kind of was getting worried. So anyway, make a long story short, if that's possible at this point, he does the exam. And the concern, of course, was that the retina had teared or had separated or something. And somebody already pointed out vitreous detachment, Lord Hogarth. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It's a vitreous detachment in my left eye. It's a pain. It's not a problem really. It's not. It's going to resolve pretty much, and my vision will be fine. And so it's not anything terrible. But there was some concern that when this vitreous detachment happens, it can hold the retina with it, and in that case it becomes more of an emergency situation. So they explain it to me, and it's basically go home, do nothing different, and come back in a month. So there we go. So I, tail between my legs, went to the ophthalmologist that I told to go stuff it, and now I got to go back to him in a month. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it was an interesting couple of days, and I thought all sorts of crazy things, everything from I'm having a stroke to I'm going to lose my eye. Of course, it's nothing. Indeed, Cole, every time she comes back, my heart races. Yes. You worry about getting an eyelash hair stuck in your eyeball like a splinter. Poem, if that ever happened, just go to the ER. I mean, the thing that annoyed me about this Columbus show event was that I was in pain. I mean, okay, there are people in more pain, but when you got something stuck in your eye and it hurts, it just constantly hurts. There's nothing you can do about it. It was really horribly annoying, and they just wouldn't do anything. They just said, "Oh, you gotta wait," and it was hours were passing, and I'm just like, tears are coming out. I'm pushing on it to try to stop the pain, and so anyway, I finally get to see the doctor after hours and hours, and he puts a drop in my eye and instantly relieves the pain. Instantly. I mean, couldn't they have done that in triage? Anyway, if you ever have something like that, do go to the ER because it can get worse, and they can fix it pretty quickly. Ah, Flint Hill, yeah, that's scary. The middle of an 80-mile bike ride too. Lord Hogarth, I will do that next time. Next time I have something that I think might be an emergency situation, I'll just get in touch with you, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so a light stretch, 10 to 20 seconds. I will definitely try that next time, Poem. Thank you. Well, that's good news, Yornik. David G's got Haunted Bookshop and a Peterson Sherlock Rathbone. Very nice, David. Very nice. Poem also provides online help for helpless. Thank you. I'm glad that all you folks are willing to give me. I was about to say free medical advice, but nobody's actually told me whether or not there'll be a bill involved. But Dr. Mo's also available. Wow. I got friends, and I should have remembered that, guys. I'm sorry. Oh, Ron, you had it too. Yeah. One of the things that the eye doctor said that surprised me, he said, okay, what you've got is this vitreal detachment. Everybody it happens to everybody. And I thought, well, that's interesting because I've never never known anybody to have this happen, but apparently it's just aging, And in my case, I had the cataract surgery, which increases your risk. Um, so yeah. Is that how he got the title Lord Doug? I did not know that. At Noah's house. Good evening to you, sir. Hey, Cole, we have one of those. It's actually mounted on the wall on an arm that comes out. It's a shaving mirror, an old-time shaving mirror, which I used to really love using back when I wet shaved, but now I just buzz everything off. Um, but you flip it around and it's got the magnifier on it, and yeah, it's quite handy for things like that. Magnifying mirrors are good things. Oh, Yarnik, that's funny. Wow, Palm, that would have been interesting. Thank you, Rob. That would have been a tough one to say. Doug, you should have asked him if he'd be able to play the violin, and when he said yes, you could have said, "Great, I always wanted to play the violin." Hello, Carrie. Welcome. Good to see you tonight. At Noah's house is having some Star of the East Gold home pressed. Nice. Phil Rivera, how you doing, Phil? Great to see you tonight. And did Mushroom Leg, how you doing, Ray? Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, Gary, that's one of the problems. Apparently, I'm going to have more floaters now, um, which is okay. They largely go away. And sometimes when I'm really bored, I can look at a blank wall and watch them. I've had them ever since I was a little kid. I had floaters, and I remember actually doing that when I was in school, like trying to get them going so I could watch something. You look up and up, and then drop your eyes down. You can watch them slowly come down. The pipe hunter's having a cigar tonight. I almost got a cigar for second round tonight. I didn't do it, pipe hunter, but maybe next week I'll do that. Well, I'm glad you like it, Doug. I love that joke too. Cole says a large pinch of bold Kentucky with a small pinch of Saint Espresso is excellent. Huh. I don't know how those two things could ever be excellent, separate or together, but if you say so, Cole, I'm glad you enjoy it. Possible frost, Noah. Wow. Steve, good to see you, Steve. Headache for 2 days in a row. Oh my goodness, buddy. Well, take it easy. Take it easy. I'll try not to do anything loud. Frost warnings in Ohio. Oh boy. Cigar for Pope Leo. Very nice, Flinthill. Chris Kahn. Good to see you, Chris. Hey, that's what we need. We need a pipe smoking Pope. That would be pretty cool. Probably not going to happen in my lifetime because this guy's pretty young. Yeah, and I don't think the floaters go away. It's just that you get used to them and they're just less apparent. Freeze warning in Erie. My. Flint Hill has a cat named Leo. Oh, cool. Yes, the Pope owes him some royalties. I don't think he's either, Big Dave, but I would hope for Pipe. It needs a Pope character that smokes a pipe. Yes, he does smoke for Yes, he does. It would be a church warden, wouldn't it, Pipe Hunter? Uranic, that's exactly what you should do whenever you have a cigar in your mouth. Yes. Oh, poem. That's fantastic. I hope retirement treats you very well. You think the incense does it for him, Phil? Could be. Pope soap on a rope. Oh yeah, the church warden, obviously. I got you. You know, church wardens are funny. I keep seeing the same story about why they're called that, and it doesn't make any sense at all. There are people that claim that the church wardens were pipes that were long enough to put out the window in church so you could smoke during the services. And that really doesn't make sense because obviously if you're smoking a pipe, most of the smoke is going to be coming out of your mouth, not out of the bowl of the pipe. So I don't know. Salchi Papa, how you doing, Salchi? Gordon Parks. Not familiar with him, Flint Hill. Famous photographer from Kansas who was quite the pipe smoker. Very cool. Oh, Ghost Rider. Good to see you tonight. Hollowed out the candle snuffers. There you go, Phil. That would make sense. Actually, that's more like those little Japanese pipes. Well, they're not little, they're quite long, but they got that tiny little bowl. They'd make nice candle snuffers. No, I don't have any garden picks. Right now, there's not really much to have a picture of. It's just straw and just starting to see some sprouts of arugula and spinach. But I will. Tomorrow is our CSA plant sale, so I'm going to be buying tomatoes and peppers and things like that. So I'll take some pictures after that and maybe show them on Sunday. But Patrick, why would they put the pipe out the window? It doesn't make sense. Who talked about Gordon Parks? I don't remember who brought it up originally, Poem, but you scroll back in the chat, somebody said there was a PBS documentary. Methylene blue is a dye, Danny. Why do you ask? Sachi's got some crooner and a Stanwell handmade. Nice. So it was done after hours while the church wardens were standing guard in the church. I mean, the only thing I can think, Doug, is maybe it was like a fire protection thing, but that still doesn't make a lot of sense because the smoke is not coming from the bowl for the most part. Reading pipe makes a lot more sense, Paul. Most of the church wardens windows don't open. That's a good point, Gary. Yeah, Yornik, they're the plants that grow up around the chalk outlines. Interesting way to garden. Coincidences are abundant, Poem. Warden was outside with the pipe inside. Well, that doesn't make sense either, Lord. Oh, but maybe. To not smell up the church. But Ed, does the bowl of your pipe create the smell, or does the smoke that you're exhaling create the smell? Okay, so it was Flint Hill Breyer who saw the PBS documentary on Gordon Parks. I am going to be putting some flowers in, Sauchi. Good advice. I mean, if nothing else, it helps with the pollination of your plants. So you want to draw the bees in, but yes, they need it. Oh yes, Carrie. I was an altar boy, and I got to hold the censer many times, and that could get quite. When that thing got going, it could be quite a cloud of incense. Well, that's an interesting point, Yornik. So maybe it was about losing your night vision? Maybe? Couch! How you doing, buddy? Couch wants to know what I think of the new Pope. Well, we talked a little bit about it, Couch. Hope for the best. I know nothing about him, and I'm just gonna let it be revealed. But we are hoping he's a pipe smoker, which he probably isn't. But we thought it'd be really cool to have a pipe smoking Pope. Oh, Ed, yeah, Easter Sunday High Mass is not the first one you want to do for sure. He is indeed American Pope. That's about the only thing I know about it, about him, about it. Don't call the Pope an it. That's not how you get to heaven. Uh, we all know you get to heaven by liking Armchair Piper's videos. Okay, Ghost Rider, but again, does the smoke come out of the bowl? I mean, most of the smoke that obstructs my vision is coming out of my mouth, so I just don't see how it works. Yeah, I know he smoked back in the day, Flint Hill, but I think he had largely given it up by the time he was Pope, Benedict, that is. Infringinator wants to know if they allow smoking in heaven. Um, I don't know. Probably yes. As if it would make you happy, they do. Beans, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you tonight, Brian. It's going well here. I did say hope for the best run, but I like the pun there. No, I think it would largely depend on the person. I mean, he's gonna like in day-to-day speech, he's gonna speak whatever his most comfortable language is. Now, since he's living in Italy, he probably will pick up Italian more and more. I know this particular one does apparently seem to be somewhat bilingual. Um, the Bears, the Bulls, the Pope. Good one, good one, Cole. Um, but no, he doesn't walk around speaking in classical Latin all day. Couch, I'm going to respond to your comment in a text message later today because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't have my phone with me, or I'd do it right now. I think Mark Twain was absolutely right there, Yornik. If you can't smoke and drink bourbon in heaven, you shall not go. Yep. The Burley Gates. Ah, that's a good one. Speaks 5 languages. That is impressive. So I'll tell you, related to whether you can smoke in heaven, I'm going to tell you one of my favorite stories about. Oh, I cannot think of his name right now. Oh my goodness, who was the Ed? You'll probably know this. Somebody will know this. The bishop, later cardinal, I believe, who did Angels on the Chalkboard, the like 1950s TV series where he would talk about. He had a very popular TV show. I cannot think of his name. Oh, this is bad. 7 if you count the language of dance. Ah, oh, you're in a doesn't really matter what his stance is on the Second Amendment there, Sauchi. I get your point. I get your point, but he shouldn't be involved in that kind of stuff. Fulton Sheen, thank you, Flint Hill. Why couldn't I think of that? My goodness. Ah, I, getting older is not it's not all it's cracked up to be. Names are starting to leave me. Anyway, Bishop Fulton Sheen, a very famous guy and very respectable uh, man in the church. And this isn't a story about religion or anything. I mean, it is because it involves heaven, but it's just a cute story. So he told this story about an old woman who comes up to him, and she's very distraught. And she's distraught because his her little dog has passed away, and she's just so upset about this. You know, her little dog has died, and she asks Bishop Sheen if dogs go to heaven, and he says, well, you know, everything that we know suggests that animals do not have souls, which you know we don't actually know that they do have souls. I guess is the point. So um, anyway, he says so. You know, based on official Catholic teaching, I would have to say no, animals do not go to heaven. And her response is, oh, well, well, then I wouldn't enjoy that at all. And he immediately responds, well, then they do go to heaven because you've got to enjoy. You know, it has to be a state of constant joy. Therefore, if you wouldn't enjoy it, so anyway, it's a cute story. I just like that. Never shot a gun in your life, Mushroom Leg? You don't know what you're missing. They're hard to hit too because they're very small. So you got I am responsible for getting Ilva into heaven. Yes, Couch. I am Ilva's godfather. She is my god dogter. I wish I hadn't made that joke originally because it's very hard to say. I have completed my bowl of haunted bookshop. I'm going to take a short break while I decide what to smoke next. God did smoke cigars and look surprisingly like George Burns, Gary. That's a good point. At least the only film evidence we have of God. So I'll tell you, Flint Hill, and I hope you guys will indulge me in this little uh, tangent here. But you know, Flint Hill says there's a great likelihood that our pets do have souls that can survive bodily death. I think that's probably true as well. But when you know, I've had dogs all my life. I've got two now that I love dearly, and you know, they will look at me in a way that is absolute unconditional love. I mean, there's no question about it. I can be so mad at my dog, and I can yell at my dog, and I can give it a, you know, a smack on the snout for doing something bad. Not that I hit them that much, but I will occasionally like give them a little tap just to get their attention. And you know, I can yell at them and be really, really angry at them, and the ears go down and the tail goes down, and a minute later they're looking at me like I love you more than anything else in the world, and that love has got to be the closest thing that we can experience to what we're told is the unconditional love that God has for us, and therefore I think that they're a gift that gives us a little slice of that, and there's got to be something special there. There's got to be something more than just an animal. You know, it's not just a part of creation that's going to disappear. There's something there. So that's the way I feel about it. And the same is true for pets in general, with the exception of cats. Cats are definitely evil and the spawn of Satan. There, I've said it. All right, so for round two, I've got a choice to make here. And I'm not going to let you guys vote because I've had a rough couple of days, and I really want to have a second bowl of Haunted Bookshop, so that's what I'm going to do. I could have a bowl of the Samoy. I've got that here, and I've been enjoying that. I've been having about a bowl a day, and it's been very nice. It's great tobacco for this time of year, but it's cold today, and Haunted Bookshop's just gonna do it for me. So I'm gonna get out the big bowl of Haunted Bookshop. I'm not gonna get it out. I'm gonna pick it up, and we're gonna put that into the Merchant Service Lavat, which I set this aside. I smoked this for a couple of weeks and got it broken in and was really happy with it. And then I put it back into the rotation for whatever that is, because I don't have a official, like, oh, this pipe's next. I just kind of pick up whatever I'm interested in. And this one just hasn't been picked up since then. And I picked it up this morning, and boy, I like this pipe. So I'm gonna put some more Haunted Bookshop in it. Oh, Noah, I'm so sorry to hear about Carl. And yes, I'm so glad you got Leonard. They are wonderful. And Mushroom Lake, I didn't really mean, and Carrie, I'm sorry, I didn't really mean to say that about, well, I did mean to say that about cats because that's my personal experience, but I know it's not true. Chris Kahn, I don't know much about parakeets. I had them when I was a kid, but I can imagine that, yes. Yeah, I think that's the difference, Ghost Rider. I mean, cats are smart animals, but they're not. They decide to live with you, it seems. The other thing I've got against cats is that I am highly allergic to them. Um, so you know that kind of colors my opinion. Plus, I come from a family that's a long line of cat haters, and that comes from battles we had with cats at our garden in Wildwood, New Jersey. There was a woman that lived catty corner to our house. Catty corner. That's true. And she had a lot of cats. Her nickname amongst my family was the Cat Lady. I don't actually. Oh, her name was Bertha actually, but we all called her the Cat Lady. She had a lot of cats, and they would dig up our garden, and so this was like a war that we had with this, and so that just led to this sort of um, family hatred of cats. But no, I sometimes go to, like, when I go to the pet store, they'll have the cat adoptions, and I'll go and I'll, in the cage and all that, and they're cute. I get it. I get it. That's interesting. This is Haunted Bookshop, and the first light was almost like a berry aromatic. That's very odd. It's now Haunted Bookshop, which is good. I've had that occasionally happen. I wonder if something else fell in, you know? Oh gosh, David, that must have been devastating to you. 35 years, African gray parrot. They're beautiful birds. So sorry to hear that. Cat the other white meat. Oh, Big Dave. Terry Davy, greetings to you, sir. Well, you know, Doug, the cats actually create that problem with the crazy cat people. Uh, okay, I'm gonna really make cat people angry now, but there is a infectious parasite uh, called T. gondii. T period Gondi. You can look it up. I'm not making this up. And T. gondii infects the brain, and it's actually very, very common in cats, and it is transmitted to people. And there's this theory that T. gondii produces an inflammatory response in the human brain that actually is responsible for probably not the sole cause, but it can certainly trigger schizophrenia in people. So the sort of trope of the crazy cat person is actually probably cats causing this. Well, not causing it. I'm not trying to say they're consciously creating this, but it's this weird symbiotic thing where the cats carry this parasite, which causes people to lose it a little bit and start to accumulate cats. So very strange. Now most cat owners don't have this problem. I'm not trying to say that every cat is going to do this. It just, I think they're trying to control you, but you know, it's up to you. No, all kidding aside, if I could tolerate a cat, if I didn't have this allergic problem, I can see a lot of benefits, and I would certainly have one down here that would come down here because it might keep the sprickets in check. So, yeah. Oh, that's not good, Big Dave. Explains how you got two cats, Gary. No, I think two is a small number relative to what we're talking about. I never heard sugar being a trigger, Danny. And I've been in the field of psychiatry for a long time. Now, sugar was believed to be a trigger for ADHD and even autism for a while, um, but not schizophrenia. Ticks are bad in PA, guys. That's not good. I was going to do some fishing. Where did the time go? Are we already late, Patrick? Time is it? Oh my goodness, we're getting on there, aren't we? It has gone fast. My God, an hour plus already down. James Steidle got cat scratch fever. My goodness, that is something, James. Yeah, I would have thought that the winter would have killed off quite a few ticks, Chris. I agree. Really, Danny? Okay, I'm sure your experience is real. I wasn't questioning you. I'm just saying that in my experience, I hadn't heard that. Yeah, the Lyme's disease is a real problem around here. Got to be very careful. And boy, that's the last thing I need. But I'm pretty good with, I usually wear um, gaiters. Gaiters? Is that the right word for it? They're waders, but they come up to my knee, or actually mid thigh. Um, and usually don't get too much into brush that I have to worry about my arms or anything. And I do use a pretty heavy um, repellent with DEET. It's like the highest concentration of DEET you're legally allowed to put on. Plenty of time for more creepy cat stories, Doug. Okay. Patrick's got some Northwoods going in a mere poker. Nice. Ah, thank you, Mushroom Leg. Yes, please do hit that like button, guys. Just helps get the word out. And if you hit the bell icon, you'll get notifications when I'm going live. Not that you need that because you're obviously here, but I watch some channels on my other YouTube channel. I'll watch. Not that I make videos on it, just one I use to sequester. So I like to just keep this for pipes, and then I watch other stuff. And some of the channels I watch are the more sort of mainstream, many subs kind of channels, and I just think it's so awful that they always have to say that routine of make sure you pound that like button and subscribe and I try to do it because I do want the pipe community to be strong, and I think it's important for the algorithm that we do that for everyone. Uh, but I hate saying it. Ah, that's awful, Noah. That gives me the willies just thinking about it. Rabbits for you, Gary? Yes, hit it twice, Piper said. Vote early, vote often. Kate, sleepwalking and sleep talking again, Yernick. I've heard a lot of people say that about shorts, Noah, and honestly, I never watch shorts. I just assume shorts are either something I'm not going to be interested in or part of a video that I'm going to watch anyway. But I guess the kids like it quick and fast. Good point, Gary. Good point. We are about the halfway point. Although, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but Guinness is kind of flat to begin with. Mm, that is good. Oh, that's funny, Yornik. So you're not even making cigarettes these days. That's really funny. Ah, finishing up a black dragon, says Terry, and he's moving on to some number eight slough. Number eight slices of good stuff from Peretti. Good stuff, Terry. Enjoy. That tells you something, James. If your shirt gets more views than you have subs. Although, it's interesting when I look at the analytics, and I don't do it very often. My views only come from about 40% are from subscribers. And I've heard a lot of people say that, not just in the pipe community, but in other places as well. I know a guy who's really into YouTube, watches lots and lots of YouTube videos, and he said he's never subscribed to a channel. And I don't know how he does it because he's always watching the same people. I guess the algorithm just knows what he likes and presents it to him. But yeah, he's never hit the subscribe button. Eric S, how you doing, buddy? Ticks are horrendous. Oh boy, don't like ticks. Hey, you know what I got to do this weekend? I got to get some poison ivy out of my yard. That's gonna be fun. It is just about the right temperature, David. It is indeed. Yeah, Lord Hogarth, I get it. I get it. Some people just don't like the longer videos, but for me, I don't know if I'm so I don't use autoplay when I watch YouTube. I want to pick what I'm going to watch next. So for me, it's annoying to have to like keep clicking on something. I'd like to put on something that's going to last a half an hour and sit back and watch it. You installed a thing that doesn't show you shorts. That's interesting, Lennox. Ticks like her, huh, Gary? Oh, that's not good. Not that's one thing. It's not good to be popular with. You know, Piper said I've been trying to convince my wife to let me get goats and chickens for years, and she just won't go for it. But granted, we do not have that much property, and we are in the suburbs. Uh, we got enough property for chickens, and other people have them, but it's funny, Sauchi. Never had a chick, Gary. You're a lucky man. We do grow them good here in PA, indeed, Eric. Yeah, Danny, I wouldn't be surprised if we have one of the highest tick populations. I mean, it can be bad. I did swap pipes, Fillmore. I'm now having it's a merchant service Lavat. Yeah, my plan of attack for the poison ivy is just to pull it up, find the roots, and get rid of them. It's still small, hasn't yet gone crazy, but I hate the stuff. I had a really bad reaction to poison ivy once, and I'm terrified of it. And it's in a part of the yard that it's not like I'm going to go grab it or anything, but I've got dogs, and if they, brush up against it and they come in the house and I pet them, I'm going to get it. So, what do I give for my dog? Danny, I don't understand the question. So when I was a Cub Scout, we had this annual jamboree thing that we would go to, and it was in one of the local parks, believe it or not. I was in Philadelphia, and the Den Master, Cub Master, whatever he was called, uh, told us that you could get immunity to poison ivy by eating it. And he proceeded to cook something up and give it to us that we all ate. And I'm pretty certain it was spinach. But what a terrible thing to tell kids, because somebody went and ate some. Oh, for ticks. So Danny, I don't know what the stuff is, but we give them some kind of an oral medication that they get every couple of months, and it prevents fleas and ticks, and it seems to work pretty well. I've never found a tick on my dogs. That's great advice, Big Dave. I also have an app on my phone that I highly recommend. There's probably other ones as well, but the one I use is called Picture This. And you just take a picture of any plant, weed, anything, and it will tell you what it is. It's really pretty accurate. And I used that a lot when I was getting some of the garden beds ready, because my wife likes to plant. They're not garden beds, they're like beds around trees and stuff. My wife likes to plant random things, and I don't ever know what's a weed and what's not in the spring. So I used that, and it did a pretty good job. I know where you're going there, Eric, and yes, it is lucky. Stinging nettles are apparently edible. Yes. Um, I've never had them. Dandelions are edible, and I have dandelion greens every year from our CSA, and I really enjoy them in salads. Now, James, that's horrible advice. So it happened on something, you guys are going to think I'm a hippie now, but we went to, I mentioned in my Sunday chat last week that we went to the farmer's market, and one of the people that my wife struck up a conversation with, my wife strikes up conversations with people. I'm the introvert. She was a woman that was making different vinegars, I guess is the easiest way to say it. And one of the things she was selling was something called fire cider, which is, you can look this up. There's tons of videos on YouTube about it. It's apple cider vinegar that's infused with onions, garlic, ginger, and stuff. So you mix those things up, you let it sit for a couple of weeks, and then you strain it, and you supposedly use it as well, it's somewhat medicinal, I suppose, but supposedly it can warm you up in the winter, and it has all these bits, some not anti-immune, anti-inflammatory. Um, so anyway, she had samples of this, and I tasted it, and I was like, this would make a really good salad dressing. I don't think she appreciated it that much. So we bought a bottle because I don't like apple cider vinegar. I really don't like it. But this tasted like a really rich Italian dressing, but no fat. Just those things and all that. So anyway, I bought a bottle to use as salad dressing, and I have been using it, and it's quite good. But I got interested in this, so I watched several videos on fire cider and found the woman who popularized this in the 70s was a woman named, I think it was Laura Gladstar. I think it was Laura. Gladstar is her last name. She's still alive and she actually has YouTube videos. She lives in northern Vermont now, which is interesting because some of the scenery I recognize because that's where my family lives now. Interesting woman, very a little bit too new agey for me, talking about how the plants communicate with her and stuff, but she also really knows her plants. And one of the things that she had talked about was yeah, she talked about mullein actually, and nettles, and different uses for them and stuff like that. It was really interesting. There is some wisdom in the whole medicinal herbs and the Chinese traditional medicine and all that. They're chemicals in plants just like there's chemicals in your pharmaceuticals. So I'm interested in that kind of stuff. Many parts of a pine tree are edible, said Yule Gibbons. Yes, we know how that worked out for him, didn't we, Big Dave? Some plants are edible only once. Yes, yes, Yorick. Oh, Eric, I fear that you are correct about farmers markets. Yeah, Gary, I had really bad poison ivy. I know exactly what you mean with it looking like you've been burned. And it was terrible. I had blisters all over my hands and my arms, and it was really awful. And this was when I was still at Emory University. So we had bought the house here, and I was staying in Georgia to finish up shutting down that lab, and my wife was living here, and I would come up every couple of weeks, and it was warm weather, and I decided to clean out around the shrubs and must have gotten into some poison ivy without realizing it. I went back to Atlanta and it just got horrible. And I didn't have uh, health insurance yet because I was technically between jobs. I was still being paid by Emory, but they had stopped my benefits, and I hadn't yet been paid by the company here in Pennsylvania. So I didn't have any benefits yet. So I couldn't even get the steroids. Couldn't even get a doctor to talk to me. It was bad. Yule Gibbons was definitely the grape nuts guy, yes. That Confucius was a smart man, Mushroom like. Hubba hubba, Daniel Leslie. Did Daniel Leslie? There's Daniel Leslie. Good to see you, Daniel. Oh, that must be terrifying, Noah. To have it on your face. Oh my goodness. I was trying everything to try to get some relief from this. I knew it just had to run its course. I knew there was no cures, but I tried Epsom salts. I tried what is that? That Fell's naphtha soap. Nothing worked. Ah, how do you like that olive wood pipe, Daniel? Confucius was far from orthodox, Yona. The Smooth Piper. How you doing, Peter? You can't be late. You're just in time. Although we are going to tie up soon, aren't we? Good to see you, Peter. Uh, got a bit more beer to go, though. So we've covered a lot of topics tonight, haven't we? Every Friday night when I finish this, I go upstairs and my wife says, "What did you guys talk about?" And I go, uh everything." Oh, Doug. Oh, Ed, that must have been awful. No, I definitely think that the olive wood imparts a flavor, Daniel, and that'll be less apparent over time, but definitely in the first few smokes, you're gonna get that. And I do think, even though I've had mine for many years now, when I smoke it, burley just tastes different. Oh, Danny, what a question. Additives in food and vaccines being a cause of mental illness. So, when it comes to vaccines, I don't think so. Although I think vaccines have to be very carefully studied before they're lost on the general, before they're released on the general population. Because vaccines do create long-term changes in your immune system. So it's not just like you're taking a pill when it's going to be out of your body in 12 hours or whatever. So I think there's concern about vaccine safety. Additives in food, you know, food has an effect on you. Like we were saying earlier about herbs and stuff. There's chemicals in what we eat, and there's chemical additives, and they're going to have an effect on you. Now, are they causing mental illness? I don't know, but are they causing us to eat things we probably shouldn't be eating, and an increase in childhood obesity and therefore diabetes? And you just got to look at the diabetes rate in children over the past 50 years to see that something's terribly wrong. I think I'm out of Haunted Bookshop here, guys. I think my pipe runneth empty. So we will set that aside and finish up the beer as we wind down tonight. I noticed last week after I signed off, I still had beer left. So I apologize for that. I normally make sure to finish it before, but I still had one shot left. I know you all had a terrible week because of that, I'm sure. You're welcome, Danny. And yes, our food is garbage. I cleaned up my diet a lot over the past couple of years, and I, I don't want to be one of these reformed fat people or anything like that, but when I eat something that I know I shouldn't, I feel bad. It's not just that I feel guilty. I feel ill. I have low energy. I just feel sluggish. It has an impact on me. And I think, I went for a long, long time not understanding that because it was just what, it was my world. I always felt like that. And it wasn't until I cleaned up my diet that I got to realize just how much of an impact it's having on me. And I think a lot of people don't understand that because they're in that situation. That's their day-to-day life. And until you detoxify from that, and I hate to use that word because it makes people think of juice cleanses and all that wacky stuff, but just take a couple weeks, get that processed stuff out of your life, and see what effect it has on you. Really interesting. I don't think instrumentation improvement is leading to a change in the diagnosis of diabetes, Paul. Diabetes is not difficult to diagnose. It's really quite obvious. Um, there's definitely an epidemic of childhood diabetes. I see some folks are starting to check out Armchair Piper, Salchi Papa. Thank you guys. You have a great weekend. A mushroom leg, it's a battle. I've actually gained about 20 pounds since I lost the weight, and I'm trying to go back down again, and it's just not happening. I seem to be stuck at, you know, the current weight that I'm at. It's not bad. I'm still happy with where I'm at, but I'd like to go a little bit lower. But you gotta constantly keep it in mind. You've seen a difference with the sugar. Yeah, Carrie. I very rarely, we don't even own sugar. Um, my wife is diabetic, so we can't keep it. And she's got a terrible problem with cookies and things like that, but we don't keep a bag of sugar in the house. It would be hard if you're on the road all the time, Daniel. I get it. Sounds good, Peter. You enjoy that haunted bookshop. Yeah, I see a lot of guys saying that they've made changes in their diet and they feel better. I think it's real. I really think it's real. My wife was watching. She watches these. I, my wife watches. Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit over here. I could end now, but I want to go a little bit over to talk about this. So hope you guys don't mind. My wife watches YouTube videos that I just don't understand. She watches people that go shopping. They go to the grocery store and they've got their list and their cart and they walk around and they put the stuff in their cart. And these are people that have large families, and so I think that's part of the attraction. They're cooking for 12 or something. Um, it was haunted bookshop, Peter. I just went with two balls of haunted bookshop tonight. I find this incredibly boring, but she for some reason watches it, and I ask her why, and she says, "Oh, she gets her shopping fix in." Anyway, it's she's happy. Yeah. But last night, she was watching this video from this woman in England who, and she's not one of these shopping people apparently, but she decided to do a challenge where she was going to eat based on World War II rationing. So she was going to go a full week and only eat what she would have been able to eat if she was under the World War II rations. So, and she is in England. I don't know if I said that. And it was an interesting video. She showed some of the things she ate. It wasn't like recipes and stuff, but it was just she would show the food and tell you what she was eating day to day and how she was surviving and all that. And the first day she was saying how she was hungry and stuff, but on the third day or so, she talked about how she was still feeling a little bit hungry, but for some reason she had a lot more energy. And I thought, that's really interesting because and she ultimately got to this point. She was cooking everything. She wasn't eating any processed food because she could only use what the rations would have given her. And she was also limiting her caloric intake, which, has an effect as well. So I think just trying to clean up your diet really does have an effect. And it doesn't matter if you go carnivore diet or keto or whatever the trendy thing is. Just get away from the processed food. Okay, that's it. Putting the soapbox away. Paul the Piper, how you doing, Paul? Ah, Eric, yeah. I got to do some weight training myself. My upper body strength is going to pot. Really got to work on that. Oh, you saw that video too, James? I don't know the person's name, or I would give it, but yeah, if you want to put the name in the chat, I'd be happy to promote her because it was an interesting video. Yeah, oatmeal is actually my main. Well, oatmeal and pasta for me are the problems, Eric. I don't think I could ever do a keto diet because those two things are just staples for me. Oh, and brown rice, I eat a lot of that too. Oh, you're welcome, David. Yeah, well, we should probably draw this to a close. Sorry about the soapbox there at the end, but I just think it's important. The Indians and the Pakistanis are fighting in the streets. Oh my goodness, Paul. Well, stay safe, buddy. Don't like salmon, Poem. My wife likes salmon. I don't. I can eat it, and occasionally I'll enjoy it, but it's just Tasting History is an excellent channel, Yorick. Yes, yes, I love that channel. Um, this guy, if you don't know, this guy just he'll pick a recipe from like a recent one that I watched with him was about what the cardinals eat at the conclave, and he found this recipe from like the 1600s, and he makes the recipe, he tells you about it, but then he takes a break from the cooking and he actually goes into the history. It's a fantastic channel. Max, I don't remember Max's last name, but Tasting History. I'll try to get the name of her channel, James, and maybe put it in the chat later. Not put it in the chat, put it in the description later. All right, folks, I see other folks checking out. I'm going to check out too. So thank you guys for joining me. This was always a highlight. Tonight was a particular highlight because I didn't even know if I was going to be able to see today. But uh, so good to see you all. No pun intended. I hope you have a fantastic weekend and a great week ahead. We'll be back next week for sure. Yes, Max Miller. That is the name, Yernick. Fantastic channel. I'll be back next week for sure. I'll have some video on Sunday. Maybe I'll show you some garden pictures depending on how things go tomorrow. And with that, I just thank you all. Have a great evening. And until we speak again. Night all.